How does your upbringing inform what you see as the legislative priorities before this next U.S. Senate?
Yeah. Look, I think over time, a lot of issues to make an impact on, from expanding healthcare access to all, to tackling climate change, making our democracy and our economy more inclusive. But and let's be clear-eyed about this. Priority number one is COVID, COVID, COVID. Yes, it's helpful to have this relief package that was adopted this last weekend. It's helpful for now, but nowhere near enough. Right, the end of the pandemic is nowhere in sight. And so families are going to need ongoing support. Small businesses are going to need ongoing support. And even with the vaccines that are beginning to be distributed, it's going to be months and months and months until a sufficient number are distributed and administered for us to truly get to the other end of this curve, as Dr. Fauci puts it.
Right. And we've heard Democratic leadership say that this is a down payment, that it should be a floor, not a ceiling. What do you think is actually necessary to see us through to the other side of this crisis?
Yeah, it's got to be an ongoing commitment until the numbers truly drop. Right. We've had multiple waves in 2020 alone, and we're in the middle of not just the holiday season, but winter. And we've been hearing since March, during the winter, because of the weather changes, more people staying inside, there's a chance that the numbers are going to go up. So we can't predict, are we going to be over with this in March, April? Is it going to be June, July? Is it maybe next fall? And because we can't predict the length of time, you can't predict the dollar amount that we're going to need to sustain the economy, sustain people's livelihoods. It is literally a matter of life and death for far too many Americans.
Even as many people cheered, celebrated the historic nature of your nomination, there are, of course, those who are frustrated that there is not going to be now a Black woman serving in the U.S. Senate. What do you think needs to be done to ensure that this critical core constituency within the Democratic Party sees itself reflected in the party's leadership?
Yeah, I hear you. And it's important to have them in positions of leadership at the federal, state, and local level. It's one of the tremendous assets of California, right? Our beautiful, rich diversity. If you look at all of our statewide elected officials, for example, you do see African Americans and Asians and Latinos. You have men, women, and even the LGBTQ communities represented in California's leadership. That should be the case across the country, not just in one state. So that being said, I want all Californians to know that as proud as I am to bring my life experience and journey to this process, I will do my best to be the best senator I can for all California families.
As Secretary of State, you pushed to make it easier to vote, which is refreshing, especially in this moment. Automatic voter registration, pre-registration for 16 to 17-year-olds. State also sent ballots to all voters this year because of the pandemic. Do you think, given what we have just seen in this past election, that this should be a priority of the Democratic Party?
Absolutely. And we saw, not just in California, but a number of states, record participation, whether it's record registration or record turnout or both, despite the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. And a lot of that success was built on policies that we've been championing simply to increase access to the ballot, which, by the way, also improves the security and integrity of election administration. So in my mind, it is a no-brainer. The way the Constitution lays it out, states run elections. They're not federalized, they're not centralized, but I do think there's a significant role for the federal government to play, just as it does on the security side, to help advance and fund these reforms that will help our democracy.
There's always the hope that as new members come to Capitol Hill, that they will be able to shake things up. What are the lessons? What are the experience from your time as Secretary of State that you hope to bring to your new post?
Well, my time as secretary, my time in the state Senate prior to that, and even on the Los Angeles City Council once upon a time. I think, it's all about ideas, how to improve people's lives and the relationships to build support for those ideas. But at the end of the day, you want to make a big difference. You want to make a big impact. You got to think big. You got to be bold, and you got to be fierce in fighting for what we're trying to achieve here.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.